Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhagavad-Gita Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhagavad-Gita Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Shri Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sadhu Sangha Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita Ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda. Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Parikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is, translation and commentary, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse, chapter 6, number 25, chapter entitled Jnana Yoga. So, please repeat. Śanaih, śanair, uparamed, buddhyā, dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁsthaṁ, manaḥ, kṛtvā, na kiñcit, api cintayet, śanair, uparamed, buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁsthaṁ kṛtvā, na kiñcit api cintayet, śanair, uparamet, buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁsthaṁ kṛtvā, na kiñcit api cintayet. Okay, go ahead.
śanair uparamet, buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁstham manaḥ kṛtvā, na kiñcit api cintayet.
śanair uparamet, buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁstham manaḥ kṛtvā, na kiñcid api cintayet.
śanair
uparamet, buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā, ātma-saṁstham kṛtvā, na kiñcit api cintayet. Okay, word for word, please repeat. Śanaih, gradually. Śanaih, step by step. Uparamet, one should hold back. Buddhyā, by intelligence. Dhṛti-gṛhītayā, carried by conviction, ātma-saṁsthaṁ, placed in transcendence, manaḥ, mind, kṛtvā, making, na, not, kiñcit, anything else, api, even, cintayet, should think of. So, translation, Srila Prabhupada. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Please repeat gradually. Step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Purport, Srila Prabhupada. By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. This is called pratyāhāra. The mind, being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation from the senses, should be situated in trance or samādhi. At that time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. In other words, although one is involved with matter as long as the material body exists, one should not think about sense gratification. One should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of the Supreme Self. This state is easily attained by directly practicing Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Mukham karoti bācālam pangam laite girim yad kripa tamam vande Shri Guru Didharinam śanair uparamet buddhyā dhṛti-gṛhītayā ātma-saṁsthaṁ manaḥ kṛtvā na kṛṣṇa api cintayet. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So Kṛṣṇa is going further and further into the antarmukh, right? We know material life is bahrimukh. We're looking into the material world and we're trying to control and enjoy it with our material body. This is the material condition. Everyone is focused on the material world, how to control it or manipulate it, and then how to enjoy it, get something that we find attractive. The mind in the material world is thinking, feeling, willing, and then action follows. Thinking means I'm cognizant, I'm a conscious being. But then I'm not only just conscious, but I'm feeling, I'm interpreting what I'm seeing. This is another action of the consciousness. I'm seeing, I'm conscious, I'm seeing this room, but then I'm seeing things that I like about the room and things that I don't like about the room. And then on that basis, I am performing decisions, right? Oh, I don't like this room, it's too cold, I'm going out. Oh, I like this room, it's comfortable and peaceful, I think I'll sit here and chant. So thinking, feeling, willing, sankalp, vikalp, accept, reject, decision, and then action. So Prabhupada explains this many lectures, purports, that this is the action of the consciousness, thinking, feeling and willing. But that is what is being employed in the material world. People are thinking, conscious of the material world, they're interpreting it, then they're making decisions, and then they're doing things. It may happen in the blink of an eye, like we meet somebody, and oh, this is a nice person. But then in the blink of an eye, we meet somebody with something, I don't like him. There's some, he's a bad person, some bad vibration. So this is all going on in the mind, but it's focused on the material energy. So that is the Maya Shakti. If you remember the two things, I've quoted it many times, that when you're in the material energy trying to enjoy, the Maya Shakti in your mind makes two big coordinates. One is you become godless. Godless doesn't mean to say you might not believe in God, but you don't think God is very relevant. You don't know who is God. You don't know what he wants. You have a vague idea at best. So you're godless. And then you look at the material energy and you perform fruitive activities, controlling, enjoying, trying to, I'll work hard, I'll get money, I'll enjoy, right? In the modern day, we'll do this and then we'll enjoy. Fruitive mentality. We're always ceaselessly looking for some advantage. So that is Bahirmukh. So Arjuna was that, right? He was very unhappy at the beginning. I have to fight, look at this material world, I have to kill and this and that. And Krishna told him, no, this is immoral, you have to do your duty. And then he told him, no, you have to do your duty for Vishnu. And then he explained spiritual knowledge, chapter 4, to make him strong in that conviction. Who is Vishnu? There is a Supreme Lord. You can learn this from Guru. Approach a guru and learn the truth. And then he gave a list of sacrifices, sacrifice of charity, of knowledge, of austerity, chanting, and so on. He gave all that. Now in the 5th chapter then, he explained what's called Naiskamya Yoga. Calm. It means how to perform your material activities without any material desire. That means your impetus to activity, because like we say, we're thinking, feeling, willing, your impetus to activity is spiritual. Normally it's material. I'm acting for my benefit, or the benefit of my wife, my family, my nation, my philosophy, my community. I'm acting in that way. But nice calm, no calm, means that there's no material impetus. So what is the impetus? The impetus is bhava, spiritual bhava, attachment to the Supreme, love for the Supreme, praying. So that is spiritual. We're performing activities like Prabhupada, and all this is described in the Bhagavatam. The devotees, they're going to see Kṛṣṇa in the Ras Leela, they're going in the forest to have Leela with Kṛṣṇa. Why? The impetus is to enjoy, give enjoyment. Just like Prabhupada says here at the end. This state is easily attained by directly practicing Krishna consciousness. And what is it? One should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of the Supreme Self. So that is the spiritual state. That we are always thinking what's good for Krishna, Krishna's devotees. We're not considering how I will enjoy, which is the material world. So the consciousness is flipped, if you like. And there's that famous verse, Prabhupada quoted it many times, Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhaktir Uchate. What is bhakti? Sevanam Bhakti Uchi. What is bhakti? Bhakti means to serve or give pleasure to the Supreme Master of the senses, Rishikesh. So that's the meaning of that verse there. Oh, I'm acting for the pleasure of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So now this is, Krishna is taking Arjuna to this. This is yoga. You should lose your material motivation. I've given you the reason, because you're not the material body. So why are you materially motivated? You should be spiritually motivated. That's your pure condition. How to attain that in Kali Yuga, we know. Lord Chaitanya has told us, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This purifies the mind. Chaitadapanam, it makes the material desires less. We become Vidyavadu Jivanam, we become realized, and then we want to serve the Supreme. And that is the natural state. Mama Angsha Jivaloka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That is actually our real state. Our real state is not to be in the Maya Shakti, godless and full of fruitive desire. So Kṛṣṇa is telling, but how Prabhupada has translated it is very nice. Like I say, you should think of nothing else. So this is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It is not 50-50, it is 100%. You understand? The great devotees, the Mahabhagavats, the Prem Bhaktas, the Uttamadhikaris, they are just thinking. They are in this state. That is the supreme state of just being entranced in bhava and serving Kṛṣṇa, spontaneous, through spiritual impetus. So, but what's very interesting in this sloka is, Kṛṣṇa is telling Arjuna how to attain this state. But he's saying, you have to put the work in. I'm expecting you to exert yourself, Arjuna. He says, gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, by full conviction, meaning that you, Arjuna, have to do the work, right? Because yes, Kṛṣṇa is the doer, and this is one of the main points that we can glean from the Bhagavad-Gita, and Prabhupada would often say it. Kṛṣṇa didn't tell Arjuna, okay, you're troubled in your mind, sit under the tree, I will do everything. He didn't tell Arjuna that. He said, no, armed with yoga, Arjuna, stand and fight. You exert yourself. Don't become passive, but become proactive. Don't think in the modern psychology, oh, I'm a victim of circumstances. I can't do anything because of something in the past. He says, no, take responsibility and act. Be proactive. So this is full in this verse. We can see that Kṛṣṇa is saying, become situated in trance by means of your intelligence, sustained by full conviction. Is that the conviction given by the spiritual master, given by the sadhu? It may be helped by the sadhu and the spiritual master, by sadhu sangha, but you have to have the full conviction. Kṛṣṇa is pointing this out to Arjuna. You have to decide. So the point is very clear. Yes, but armed with yoga doesn't mean, say, Kṛṣṇa is going, we become passive, but rather proactive. And that's in the purport, right? One should think of no pleasure aside from the supreme pleasure of the Supreme Self. So this is coming to the point of free will, right? That we are an amazing creation. We're a transformation of the spirit Chit Shakti into individually assigned living entities with our individual will. And then we can decide what we want to do. We can exert ourselves. And Kṛṣṇa says here, right, thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone. So mind means what? We explained last week rather, manas is the container of consciousness. Right, this gross body, and then we have this subtle mental body. What makes the mental body different from the gross body? The mental body is the container of the consciousness which emanates from the soul, just like the sunlight emanates from the sun. So we are the controller of that. If we want to be Ishvara, well, we are Ishvara in that sense, but we have to make that determination. Now, of course, there are circumstances that help us to make that determination, and that is sadhu sangha, sarva shastra hoy, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. So, yes, because we are tatastha, We are small little living entities. So by good association we get boosted in our determination. So yes, it's good to talk about determination and self-will and free will, but we should associate with good devotees. We can associate by hearing. That means we can read the Shastra also, by discussing the great devotees, remembering Smaranam. What is Smaranam? Smaranam means the name, remembering the name, chanting japa, the form of Kṛṣṇa, the qualities of Kṛṣṇa. 64 are given in the Nectar of Devotion. The Sangha of Kṛṣṇa, Radharani, Kṛṣṇa, the Gopi, Mother Yashoda, so on and so forth. And then the Leela of Kṛṣṇa. And then the expansions of Kṛṣṇa, Lord Chaitanya, Gaur Nitai. This is Smaranam. And we can positively exert ourselves in this practice. This is sadhana bhakti. And then Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. That is Vidimag, how to worship the deity and develop seva bhav. When we do puja to shalagram or murti or manasamarti, it is always done necessarily as service. And therefore we become thinking of the pleasure of the deity, the shalagram or the deity, and nothing else. We become absorbed. So we transfer onto the spiritual platform. And thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. But that's the point. I love the way, of course, Prabhupada's purport is sweet and sharp and beautiful, but that's the point. We should understand that we're not just into Krishna consciousness because it's fun on Saturday night. Or it's nice to go to the temple and take the kids to run around during the kirtan. No, the actual state, and all the devotees, they are 100%. I once was reading about Gokishore Das Babaji, how he was sometimes very bristly. You know, he's a great Paramahansa, Gokishore Das Babaji. He was sometimes very, not very friendly, let's say. People used to hear about him and his chanting and his tapasya, and they would want to see him. But he was too busy chanting. And the famous story that he was even chanting in the toilet so people wouldn't bother him. So he was completely there. And then we have the example of Jad Bharat, right? Complete blinkers, you know, you put blinkers on the horse, you know. What are they called? They're called blinkers, yeah? Yeah. And then we have Jad Bharat, and we have Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva means fixed. So this point is there, that we should understand that we can become determined. And that's regulated sadhana bhakti, that we regulate, this is Vidhi Marg, that we regulate our bhajan, we regulate our chanting, we regulating our study, we regulate our association. This is very important. And that will give us power. It's called bhajan bhal. And once bhajan bhal is there, one gets a little ruchi, and then one can, I don't want to watch the cricket game. I don't want to, the politics is boring. It gives me a headache. So nothing else. So Kṛṣṇa is giving that state to Arjuna. At first he was saying, oh, moral principles. You're not fighting. That people will give you a bad name. You will be a disgrace because you didn't fight for your brother. Just moral principles on the material platform. But now he's step by step, he's taking us and Arjuna to this point. Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhakti Ujjitaya. So step by step. So, I read that this afternoon, and I thought there's also, at the end of the Brahma Samhita, a step-by-step idea. So you know the Brahma Samhita, of course. First there's an introduction about the creation, and then there is Lord Brahma's realization, Chintamani Prakarasadmasa, where he sees Krishna and he sees the gopis and he sees all the creation and he sees Vishnu and he sees Durga and Shiva and he sees how it all goes together. And then, so he offers this prayer to Krishna. And then, after the prayer, where the final verse is that Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kaltaravo, description of the spiritual world, then Krishna says to Lord Brahma, Brahma, if you experience the inclination, it's very nice English, to create offspring because he's Prajapati, by being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead. It's interesting. How is he going to create the praja? By being endowed with the real knowledge of the glory of Godhead. It's very interesting. You can study the, yes, by this glory, you know, oh, I want to create living entities for the service of Krishna. Listen, my beloved, to this science set forth in the following 5 slokas. So I've mentioned this before many times, but these are the 5 slokas that are all bhakti, given by Krishna. Sometimes it's the big Bhagavad-Gita, sometimes it's the Srimad Bhagavatam, some Mahabharata. Bhakti is always the message, but here is 5 slokas. Prabhupada jnana bhakti bhyam atmani ananda chinmayi udeti utunma bhakti bhagavat prema lakshana. This is the first one. When the pure spiritual experience, now this is the important point. Many people say, oh, the atheists say, there's no God, there's only the material energy. Basically, that's their idea. They deny that there's spirit. But they're on a failing wicket, they're on a poor wicket, because there is spirit. And throughout history, in every religion, all the man-made religions, even the tribal religions, they have some idea and experience of a spiritual platform. They have some idea that beyond matter there is a subtle world of spirit. And that is throughout history. But the atheists, they have an attitude problem. They never accept. This is just hallucination. They dismiss it very arrogantly. But no, there is a spiritual world. And millions of sadhus and saints, not just in the Vedic tradition, have said this. So, how is that spiritual experience excited? Krishna is explaining. By cognition and service, seva bhav. 2 things. Cognition means, like I say, we are spirit souls, we're conscious beings. Like, I'm perceiving, you're perceiving me, I'm perceiving you, we're perceiving the room. That's cognition. We have the ability to perceive, that is consciousness. And service. So the spiritual experience, many people go to God and they want to serve God. They may offer some flowers or fruits in their tribal situation, or they may do it in Jagannath Puri with 64 items, and they offer, and then what do they get? They get some bhava, right? Prabhu, he worships Shalagram, I worship one Shila. So you get some bhava. You chant mantra, you chant, and then you get cognition and service. And you get this most powerfully if you do it with seva bhav, right? Because in the material world, we're serving ourselves. On the spiritual platform, we're serving the other. We're acting for the pleasure of the Supreme Self. Right? So, then what happens when this spiritual experience super excellent, unalloyed devotion characterized by love of Godhead is awakened towards Kṛṣṇa, the beloved of all souls. So that's what happens, especially if you are in the Vedic tradition and you're getting perfect knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Then you get this awakening of love of God in seed form. Because as we know, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Sadhakavanai, Shravanadi Sudachitte, Karideodai. So that can be woken up very easily. It's there. It's not got from Guru, it's not got from a book. It's there within the soul. It's there, but it's dormant. So then, the second verse. Pramanas tad sad acharais tad abhyasya nirantaram. This is the step-by-step. Bodhayan atma-atmanam bhaktim apiyutamam labet. Now, so you've awoken in some nascent form, beginning form, love of God. You're getting some vidyā vadu jivanam. So you want to go further. The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, just like Kṛṣṇa said here, śanair, śanair, step by step. So it's a gradual process. You've heard that many times. Prabhupada said that's a gradual process. It has to be gradual because you're realizing the unlimited supreme truth. And there's that story about the fisherman in Puri, right? Lord Chaitanya left his room and he went on the beach and he fell in the ocean, and the fisherman fished him out with his net, and he touched Lord Chaitanya and he was in ecstasy from touching Lord Chaitanya. Then the devotees came along and they saw him and they said, he's a madman. He's going mad, shouting and chanting, and that means Lord Chaitanya is here. That's the sign Lord Chaitanya is there. So then they said, I think it was Swarup Damodar, was it? Slapped him on the head and said, don't worry, I've just thrown the ghost out. The fisherman thought I'd become possessed by a ghost. Something. Oh no, it's okay. You'll be okay now. You'll settle down. So it's a big subject. To handle the spiritual energy, the awakened soul, because the soul is like a seed. When it expands into prem, it becomes very powerful. We see this with Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta, all the great acharyas. What did Srila Prabhupada do? They do incredibly powerful things. So they have this incredible energy. But we may be just, I can just about go to Mangalarti. So this is step by step. We have to go that way. We don't want, to go in the temple and everyone is rolling on the ground in ecstasy. What would the Delhi-wallahs think? They're coming from Lucknow. I went to the Hare Krishna temple and they're all running around like madmen. I'm not going there again. So the devotee learns to be sober, and that is also advised, to keep your bhava within, keep it private. But of course it breaks out. You have many, the stories. So, highest devotion, that means slow degrees, step by step, by the method of constant endeavor, with the help of three things. 1, 2, 3. Scriptural evidence, pramana, theistic conduct, and perseverance in practice. Right? So if you want to become, it's again, that this Kṛṣṇa is telling Arjuna, you have to put the work in. So we have to study the Shastra. What is that? Sadhu, about buddhyā jiva, Siddhanta, from, we should always study Siddhanta. Anyway, you should study Siddhanta, and in that way you make your mind strong. And then theistic conduct and perseverance in practice. Theistic conduct means following regulative principles, so on and so forth. So that's number 2. So we've just seen that, cognition and service attitude, and then we increase it with constant endeavor, pramana, we learn siddhanta, and then we theistic, we become sadhus, and we keep persevering. That means we keep. But it's nice, it's easy to persevere because bhakti is very pleasurable. And then, number 3, yasya shreyas karam nasti. These preliminary practices of devotion are conducive to the realization of loving devotion. So this is sadhana bhakti, and it leads to prem bhakti. Loving devotion, than whom there is no superior well-being, who goes hand in hand with the attainment of the exclusive state of supreme bliss, and who can lead to myself. Yeah, so bhava bhakti leads to Kṛṣṇa. That's throughout the Shastra. That once you get bhava, spiritually awoken emotion, then you realize Kṛṣṇa directly through bhava. And then, so somebody may say, oh, that's very good, but I'm in the material world, I have material body. Then dharma madhyat parichadya, Kṛṣṇa explains. The 4th verse, abandoning all meritorious performances, serve me with faith. The realization will correspond to the nature of one's faith. The people of the world act ceaselessly in pursuance of some ideal. By meditating on me by means of those deeds, one will obtain devotion characterized by love in the shape of the supreme service. Yes. So people of this world act ceaselessly in their plan. They're always making some plan. But Kṛṣṇa says, okay, now you're in the material world and you're doing pramana, sadachar, you're becoming determined. But now what do you do about, you have to maintain the body, right? This is a big section in the 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, 5th chapter. What do I do? Kṛṣṇa says, Arjuna says, you're telling me to be situated in the self, but then you're also telling me to fight. This is a conflict in my mind. Kṛṣṇa explains, no, you fight as an offering to Vishnu. Yagyat kamano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. So this is what this verse is about. That you do all your material activities as an offering to the Supreme. And then the 5th verse is it's actually Siddhanta. Aham hi vishvasya chara charasya. Listen, O Vidhi. This is referring to Brahma as Vidhi. I am the seed. The seed means the fundamental principle. Just like the seed of the tree is the beginning of the tree. So Kṛṣṇa is saying, I am the seed of the creation. We'll see this in the 15th chapter, right? The yoga of the Supreme Person. That everything is like a banyan tree. And Kṛṣṇa is the root. So I am the seed of this world of animate and inanimate objects. So this is reference to, in this material world, it's a mixture of dull matter, unconscious, and conscious beings. So then Kṛṣṇa expands that, I am pradhan, the substance of matter. So pradhan is the causal ocean. That is the emanation from Mahavishnu when he's in Yoga Nidra. When Kṛṣṇa is in Goloka, he's emanating the Chit Shakti. In the causal ocean, he is emanating the pradhan in his reverie of sleep. Ramadevi is there serving him. So because that is his consciousness, the Chit Shakti means consciousness of Kṛṣṇa. Spiritual world is made out of the consciousness of Kṛṣṇa. but the material energy is made out of the pradhan interacting with the time factor and the three modes of material nature. So the pradhan is Kṛṣṇa when he is his consciousness, when he's in yoga nidra. So when we are sleeping, we forget ourselves. So the pradhan has this quality of tama. It's in the purport, and this tama makes the living entity forgetful. Kṛṣṇa, when he is in the pradhan, is forgetful. He's in the reverie of yoga nidra. So the pradhan has this quality of making us forgetful of our spiritual nature. And that element is within all elements of the material world, that aspect, whether it is the earth, water, fire, air, ether. That forgetfulness of the Supreme is inherent, intrinsic to the material energy, especially when it is under the control of the three modes of material nature and the glance of Mahavishnu, the time factor, because then we're in this illusory cognition. So, I am that. I am the pradhan, the substance of matter, in brackets. I am prakriti. So from pradhan, like I explained, the prakriti, the material energy of earth, water, fire, air, ether, so on and so forth, comes out of the pradhan. The time factor creates the three modes within the womb of Durga Devi. The Mahatattva is generated and all the material elements come out. So that is called the prakriti. So the time factor has the potency to agitate the three modes. The three modes agitate the pradhan into different categories of material energy. That's to put it. So, the material cause, and I am Purusha, efficient cause. So that is a good bit of philosophy to learn. There is material cause. Just like the material cause of that light from the light bulb is the electricity. It's coming into the light bulb, and that is the material cause. That is the local cause. But the efficient cause is the power station, because the electricity is not coming through from the wire, it's coming from the power station through the wire to the light bulb. So that is the efficient cause. That means the first cause. Kṛṣṇa is the efficient cause of creation, but Durga Devi, the three modes, time factor, Lord Shiva, Kama, Yamaraj, or the demigods, they are the material cause or the material regulators. But the efficient cause is Kṛṣṇa. So he's saying that I am Purusha, and that is the efficient cause. Whereas Prakriti is the material cause or the material appearance. So just like if you go to Bhuteshwar, a very beautiful temple, and like any temple, Lord Shiva temple, you have the linga, that's the Purusha, and then you have the yoni, the Prakriti. Purusha, Prakriti. And that's the principle that we see. Male and female. Purusha and Prakriti. We are actually Prakriti. We are Jiva Shakti. That means we are in the created category. We are not the creator category. So, but we do have the element of Purusha in us. And through that Purusha element we control our consciousness. This fire, so I am Prakriti, material cause, and I am Purusha, efficient cause. This fiery energy that belongs to the Brahman, that fiery energy in the Sanskrit, Teja. Teja means energy, power, Shakti. This that inheres in you, that belongs especially to the Brahman, that inheres in you. How did Brahma get that? Because he performed that meditation. And what did he meditate upon? What is my cause? What is my cause? I've awoken on the lotus, but I'm not my own cause. What is that supreme cause? So by meditating on the supreme cause, he was blessed with the teja, the supreme energy, the Brahman, that inheres in you has also been conferred by me. Just like Prabhupada, he was empowered to travel, open temples, translate books, counsel devotees, preach, go here, talk to politicians, talk to lawyers, talk to devotees, train. He was imbued with Shakti. So that's conferred by the Supreme Lord. It is by bearing this fiery energy that you regulate the phenomenal world of animate and inanimate objects. Yes, so just like the buddhi is the intelligence of our mind, our consciousness, it regulates the mind. Just like I'm saying, by determination, our buddhi will say, okay, do this, do that, do that. We'll decide. So Lord Brahma, one way to think of him is that he is the intelligence of the universe. The universe is a body, and what is the intelligence of that body, regulating the body? It is Lord Brahma. So you just think how intelligent is Lord Brahma, right? We are regulating this little body, but Lord Brahma, through his intelligence, he's regulating the demigods, he's regulating the creation, the partial devastation, and so on and so forth. So he's giving all this knowledge to Lord Brahma. That's the 5 elements. First cognition and bhakti, then pramana, shastrik siddhanta, and good behavior, sadacharais, and then determination, and then loving devotion will come, and then do all your activities as an offering to the Supreme, manmana bhavamad bhakto majjaji, and then understand the siddhanta. And then step by step, you will enter into samadhi. But I just wanted to sadacharais, that is given by Bhakti Vinod. And we all know that from Nectar of Instruction. Because sometimes we'll think, oh, I'm following regulative principles, I'm following 16 rounds, so I'm a sadhu. No. Sadacharais means saintly behavior, and we should go beyond just 4 regulative principles. So here in the Oh Hey Vaishnav Thakur Bhajan, Bhakti Vinod explains, Chaya Bego Domi, O Vaishnav Thakur, please give me control over the 6 urges. So we know that. What are the 6 urges? The urge to speech, the mind, anger, the tongue, the belly, and oh dear, the genitals. So we have to control those things in some way, regulation, right? So this is how we become a sadhu, by controlling these. And then that is called Chaya Begodomi, Chaya Dosha Shuddhi. That means the 6 faults, Dosha Shuddhi. What are those? Yeah, it's here in a note form. Overeating or collecting more funds and items that are necessary. They become distraction then. So that's one fault. Over-endeavoring for material objectives, like building a big hotel, or trying to get money through stock market schemes. We have so many examples. Unnecessary talking about mundane matters, right? So, right, what? Mundane matters. if you get too involved into the new world order, you're right, globalism. It's the old world order. Everyone is trying to rule the world, right? Now it may be the Zionists or the globalists or something, but they will fail. Ravana failed. Hiranyakashipu failed. They're all, there's a pop song. What does it say? Everybody wants to rule the world. You know that pop song, right? If you're from, right? So everybody is trying to be the globalist leader. They always fail, right? You can ask Hiranyakashipu. He's got a stomach problem after his attempt. So, over-collecting, over-endeavoring, that's very interesting. Don't spend all your time selling samosas. Do bhajan and come to Bhagavad-Gita class. So, unnecessary talking about globalism, becoming too attached or too neglectful of scriptural rules and regulations. That means not following regulative principles properly, not becoming clean and this and that. Or becoming too attached to them, becoming neurotic. I can't touch that now because it'll make me unclean, or, So then, associating with worldly-minded persons and lusting after mundane achievements. One will follow the other, trying to enjoy, I want to build the tallest temple in the world. I want to become famous. I want to have a dozen wives. I can even tell you a story about that. I won't mention who, but there was one devotee, he had a little trouble. He went to one other sannyasi who was GBC in a certain country, and he asked him, I want to marry 8 wives. He said like that. And that, you go mad, you should. That actually happened. So sometimes people can go a bit crazy, but never mind. It's only temporary. So they're the 6 faults. Overeating, over-endeavoring, unnecessary talk, neglectful or too neurotic about principles, and then chasing after mundane people and mundane, lusty attractors. And then, chaya guna dehodasi. So they're the negatives. Give me the 6 good qualities. Enthusiasm, right? Nectar of devotion. Patience, confidence, determination to perform activities. Determination, we've been talking about that. We have to be determined to perform activities favorable, and the resolution to abandon the association of non-devotees. What was Lord Chaitanya asked? Lord Chaitanya, what is the quality of a Vaishnava? What was the... Yes, asat sangi tyagi a Vaishnavata. The Vaishnava doesn't want to associate with materialistic people. But it also means, at sat sangi tyagi, also we can broaden that to mean he doesn't want to gain material opulence or mental speculation or read mundane books of philosophy at asat sangi tyagi. And then perform resolution to abandon, yes. And the discipline required to always follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. That means sato vrate, sato, to always follow. To give up bad association, asatsangi, and then to follow the acharya. So then, chaya satsangi. So we've had 3 now, 6 items. What is the chaya satsangi? Deho he amare. Right? Please give these to me, O Vaishnav Thakur. What are the 6 items of... Yes. So, number 1, giving gifts to Vaishnavas. Right? Like yesterday I was buying fruit, and a devotee saw me, and he was buying sitafal. You know those things? And I asked him, I've never eaten those. What are they like? He said, look, here, take this one. So he gave it to me. But it says you have to receive the gift. You can't say, oh no, I can't do that. I didn't mean that. No, you should accept. So devotee will give gifts and he'll receive them. That's two forms of association. That's reciprocation. That's loving reciprocation.
Give
Re-
prasad.
Yes, that's right. Giving and
And
accepting and receiving, yes. And then, so you can think of that as a bodily thing. Now, revealing your mind, that's, you can think of that on the mental platform. Revealing your thoughts and then posing confidential questions concerning devotional service. So, revealing your own thoughts and then inquiring on the mental body. How to advance? What about this? I don't understand this point of Siddhanta. So that's 4. And then accepting and offering spiritual food. So that's prasadam. So that's the 6. So this is what Bhakti Vinod, he's put it here. Chaya Begadomi. That means help me control the 6 urges. Chaya Dosha Shuddhi. Try and help me overcome the 6 impurities. Chaya, give me the 6 good qualities. And then Chaya Satsanga. May I practice the 6 loving reciprocations between devotees. And that is sadachara. So this is very important, because we want to develop a society where everyone is respected and appreciated and feels at home. So we can't just be fanatics. Chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, go to Mangalati, or you're a nonsense. We can't have that attitude. And then the Sangha is not pleasant. We have to feel like it's a family, a loving, right? The Nityananda Parivar, right? Parivar means family. So that is how we can make progress step by step. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, any questions? No. Everyone has to go. Stay, you've got to talk to me about. Yeah. So, any quick question?
Hare Krishna. We are discussing about acting by cognition and service attitude.
Yes.
Service attitude, somehow we are doing morning chanting, attending Mangalati, all these things. Cognition, you explain all these things. It is very difficult to maintain the consciousness, right?
Well, cognition means that you're doing spiritual practices that put you in touch with Kṛṣṇa, right? Like hearing, chanting, meditating. That is and then you will experience spirit. You're all devotees, you all know that, right? That when you chant nicely, you take nice prasadam, you read the Shastra, you get spurti, right? Swayameva spurti. Kṛṣṇa gives you some realization. So that's the means of cognition. Every devotee experiences that. And that's why they remain and develop into great devotees. Because whatever spurti, whatever realization Kṛṣṇa gives you, that is your permanent asset. Just think that. Once you've realized something about the 3 modes or the time factor or the spiritual world, once you've realized something, that becomes part of you, your consciousness. That becomes your permanent asset. It's like it's a bank balance, and you live off the interest, but the deposit only increases, right? So you should always think like that. I'm reading Brahma Samhita. Wow, I just had a realization. That's my possession. So that's the treasure of a devotee, his realization of Kṛṣṇa and Kṛṣṇa's bhakti. Okay, we better finish at this point. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. See you next week. Take care. Remember, 4, 6 urges, 6 good qualities, 6 faults, and 6 association. 24. All right.